Are you prepared to defend this land that was built by slaves, a land that was built by indigenous people, a land that is built by workers? Are you prepared to defend this land? The people united will always prevail. I need you all to stand firm, to stand strong. If this president...
Threatening the president, saying that you are ordering your police not to cooperate with federal ICE agents, being openly defiant and encouraging the citizens of your city not to take to the streets over the criminal activity, but over the President of the United States. I wonder how this is going to end. Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. It really is the only way that we get the word out. The algorithm is so clamped down against us. YouTube has done everything they can to just absolutely bury us. So please, I need you to help us spread the word. Just take this link, copy and paste it, put it onto your social media platforms, and spread the word that the Afternoon Drive is here. Thank you so much. Before we jump into the insanity, and may I say, insurrectionist act of the mayor of the city of Chicago, let's talk about something else that happened over the weekend. And no, I'm not talking about when Elizabeth Warren stole the baseball from that Phillies fan in Miami. That Karen did look an awful lot like Pocahontas, did she not? And of course, that story worked out great. I mean, not only did the kid get merch from the Marlins, but after the game, he actually got to meet Harrison Bader, who hit the home run, got an autographed bat from Harrison Bader, and I think it's the CEO of Camping World, if I'm not mistaken, has basically said that he's going to pay for the entire family to go to the World Series, and they won a brand new RV. So at the end of the day, this kid and, well, Pocahontas, she's got her baseball. But no one ever accused the Democrats of having, what's the word I'm groping for here? Class. These Democrats that were attacking RFK on Friday, his knowledge of science. Remember, these are the same people that thought this thing, this carbon-based life form, was a woman.
Thank you for playing. Should we or should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?
Even Chris Christie on ABC was talking about how dangerous it is for RFK to be talking about health. Really. Krispy Kreme Christie, he wants to talk to people about what is and is not healthy. It's so obvious that the media, as well as the Democrats, as well as some Republicans, they are on the big pharma payroll. And that's what you saw coming out of the mouth of Bernie Sanders, out of the mouth of Elizabeth Warren, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That all said, something else happened over the weekend, but so many other things were buzzing around. This didn't get a lot of play, even though the Democrats were really upset about this when Donald Trump canceled the Secret Service protection for Kamala. Camilla thinks she's a hottie Harris. Now, understand the way this works. Former presidents get lifetime Secret Service. So yes, we are still paying for the Secret Service of Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. When Trump is out of office, we will pay for his Secret Service. Vice presidents do not get that. They get it for 6 months. That means that Dan Quayle, who was VP for George H.W. Bush, doesn't have Secret Service protection. Dick Cheney, the most reprehensible, vile individual, still alive, doesn't get Secret Service protection. Judas, otherwise known as Mike Pence, does not have Secret Service protection. Kamala thinks she's a Hottie Harris, who is a multi-millionaire and can afford her own security, yet the entitlement of Democrats thinking that just endlessly things need to be given to them is without security. And so what happened? Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles, who is part of a land grift scheme along with Gavin Newsom, burning people out of their homes and then not letting them go back to their property because they're going to sell it to other developers. That Karen Bass decided to take about a dozen or so police, not just patrolmen, but from elite crime units that do detective work and are actually working on protecting Angelenos, taking them and reassigning them indefinitely to Kamala Harris. And the police and the police union said, no, no, nay, nay.
Just in, Los Angeles police are no longer providing protection for former Vice President Kamala Harris. Just days ago, President Trump ordered her Secret Service protection be pulled. California Highway Patrol stepped in along with specialized units from the LAPD's Metropolitan Division. In a statement, LA Mayor Karen Bass said the LAPD's role was always meant to be temporary. Before leaving office, former President Biden extended Harris's protection for 18 months rather than the usual 6 months for a vice president. President Trump then canceled that order.
Of course, the mayor tried to spin this as, oh, this was just temporary, just for 72 hours. No, if there'd been no pushback, this would have been indefinite. But the police union ain't playing. And this is exactly what they said verbatim on social media.
Precisely because the LAPD and the Los Angeles Police Protective League, that's the union representing rank-and-file cops, absolutely blasted this decision. They said, and I quote, pulling police officers from protecting everyday Angelenos to protect a failed presidential candidate who also happens to be a multimillionaire with multiple homes and who can easily afford to pay for her own security is nuts. That was the formal statement issued from the police union in LA.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile,
are you prepared to defend this land that was built by slaves, a land that was built by indigenous people, a land that is built by workers? Are you prepared to defend this land? The people united will always prevail. I need you all to stand firm, to stand strong. If this president...
So this mayor of Chicago, who has an 80%, that's 80% disapproval rating, took to a park on Labor Day to have this rally where he's openly defying President Trump and the federal forces. And he wants people to take to the streets to engage them, not to support them. He is actually encouraging an insurrection. You know that thing that they accused Donald Trump on January 6th, despite the fact that he kept saying over and over, we will protest peacefully, that he offered the National Guard to go in and make sure that there was order, but Nancy Botox Pelosi didn't want it because they had created before the first wave of Trump supporters got to Washington on January the 6th. This was always their plan, to create and manufacture a riot, which never happened. That a bunch of Second Amendment, gun-toting, gun-loving MAGA people would come to overthrow the government, and they would forget to bring their guns that day. But this mayor is actually encouraging insurrection. He's actually openly defying, saying he will not cooperate. Now, he was hoping, beyond hope, that within 24 hours there would be National Guard, tanks, etc., rolling into Chicago, and he and Baby Back Pritzker, you know, the Republican version of Krispy Kreme Christie, otherwise known as Fudgy the Whale, that he would be able to, ride that for wherever he thinks he's getting support from this, only from the radical base, because I promise you, regular Democrats and 85% of Americans want law and order restored to our major cities. They want law and order. Trump owns this issue now. But Trump didn't do that. He sent ICE in because he has authority over ICE. And ICE has been performing massive raids. And of course, this has got the libloons melting down because this is not something that they can challenge and delay and have one of their federal judges that they've got bought and paid for step in and try to stop Trump, saying, you didn't want the National Guard, you can't send them in. ICE goes in and does their job. And how does the liberal media handle this?
The bottom line is, because of all this false narrative, and you using the term disappearing people is disgusting.
What's happened. That happened to the group that was sent to El Salvador. U.S. citizens get arrested every day. U.S. citizens get arrested by police every day. Are they being disappeared? No, their laws are being enforced. They're being arrested. They're being put in detention because they committed a criminal offense. Not like what you're doing.
Not even close. We're enforcing the law and arresting people here in violation of law that are public safety threats. That's not disappearing people.
Disappearing people. Making it sound like that this is the Gestapo, that this is the SS coming to your home in the middle of the night because you posted something on Facebook that they deemed as hate speech and they took you away. Sorry, this is America. It's not England. Because they're doing that in England. They're doing that in Canada. People are being arrested in their homes for things they posted on Facebook. Jokes, memes, etc., etc. Now Trump isn't disappearing people. He's arresting them. And Mika Brzezinski, that pole dancer married to the guy that had to leave Congress under suspicious circumstances of an intern being found dead in his office, Joe Scumbag Scarborough, otherwise known as Mr. Magoo, she's actually going to sit there and try to argue this with Mr. Homan that this is all. She's siding with the criminals. Siding with the criminals. There has to be due process. And these people that are being rounded up are already under orders of deportation. What isn't clear about this? That's why ICE goes to these places to begin with. They know where they are. By the way, the Biden administration knew where they were. ICE just rounding them up saying, you're gone. Enough chances, over, done with. You're going back to your country of origin. And that's who they protest for anyway. Every time you see one of these protests break out against ICE, they're all waving the Mexican flag, the Venezuelan flag, etc., etc., etc. You don't see any of them waving American flags saying, we want to stay. They wave the flag of the country they're refusing to be sent back to. Does that even remotely make any kind of sense? And as a result of all of this hogwash, the people who actually live in Chicago, the actual citizens, live in fear because police are not doing their job. This is why you've got the citizens of Chicago begging Trump to send them the National Guard. They're not doing their job because the mayor wants to fight only with Trump. He doesn't want to fight criminals. And what police resources he does have, well, they're there to support being a sanctuary city. In other words, they're there to protect the people that aren't supposed to be there so that the actual Chicago citizens, U.S. citizens who live in Chicago legally have no protection and get ripped off, mugged, and everything else.
Looters just emptied a Chicago shopping center in broad daylight. Look at that, he's reaching in.
Robbers seen
Just
using
reaching right
axes
through
to
the
smash
store.
through the
Look at
side
that.
window and display case on East Huron. They then reach in and grab a couple watches before they run off. Some watches seem left dangling from the window.
I don't think Rolex thought could be broken. They found out the
Yeah,
hard
they
way.
found
They
out.
got enough leverage on a hatchet you could break through.
Chicago police say 4 men in masks broke the glass. The robbers fled in a red Nissan Murano. They then crashed the SUV into a parked car. Police scanner traffic says the men were seen throwing items out the windows, presumably watches.
Honestly, it's sad.
It is. But why weren't the police around to stop these guys? Oh, maybe this is why. Look at all these lunatics marching down the street, taking up police resources, protesting the crime crackdown, which they say isn't actually happening. Crazy. This is lawlessness. And apparently it goes on 24 hours a day now in Chicago. Look at all this patriotism for not America interesting. Very few American flags.
First, though, immigrant rights groups are activating tonight after they tell us at least 3 people were picked up by immigration officers on Chicago's southwest side today.
Nobody get close to you. ¿Cómo se llama?
Back up. You're in my way.
¿Cómo se llama?
Back up. Back up.
Don't touch me.
Back up.
Don't touch
Back up.
Tense moments caught on cell phone video. Witnesses recording as they saw officers detain a local flower vendor near Archer and Pulaski.
And probably gang members.
The officers wearing ice badges
and
vests with the words police, federal agent.
That's what our cities, that's what our country looks like when Democrats are in charge. And the American people, by and large, have said enough is enough is enough.